Hey everyone, I'm Kelly with the suburbansoapbox.com, and today we are making a quick and easy stovetop spaghetti sauce. It's very similar to a marinara. It's very smooth and tangy and with a little hint of sweetness, but it's super simple and kids love this. Another point I'd like to make is it's totally freezer friendly. So if you have a Sunday with nothing to do, you can make a huge batch of the stovetop spaghetti sauce and freeze it in batches for easy weeknight dinners. It goes fantastically with my oven baked meatballs. So make sure you check that one out too. So we're going to start with a sweet vidalia onion, and I like to use a sweeter onion for this sauce because when it cooks down, that sweetness and the sugars and everything come out into the sauce. It kind of takes away a little bit of the tanginess from the tomato. You can certainly use any other type of onion that you have. It doesn't have to be a sweet onion, but this is just my favorite way to start the sauce. So we're just going to chop or dice the onion. And to dice your onion the easiest way, I have the worst knife skills ever, just kind of cross hatch it to create like a grid in your onion, and then I have that one flat side. We're just going to pop it up and you have the perfect dice. You're going to have almost a cup of chopped onion. So if your onion's a little larger, try not to go too much more than that. So then we're going to add some olive oil to my pot here on the stove top. And I use about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and add your onion to the pot. Okay, while we wait for the onions to cook, we're going to mince up about 3 big cloves of garlic. You're going to smash them with the side of your knife. And smashing them like that makes the peel come right off. And you're going to mince them up anyway, so you don't need your garlic cloves to be whole. And then you're just going to run your knife through and mince them up. And because this is a quick cooking sauce, you want to make sure that your garlic is pretty fine. We're just trying to boost up the flavor as much as possible in as short a period of time. So we're going to add the garlic. Just give it a stir. And basically what we're doing here is just sweating out the onions. You just want them to be nice and soft. If you get some caramelization on there, that's awesome. That's just more flavor. I'm gonna let that cook until it's soft. There's really nothing better than the smell of onions and garlic cooking. I tell everybody that if they're trying to impress their future mother-in-law or a potential boyfriend, just sweat out some onions and garlic in your house. It smells like you know what you're doing. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit, and we're gonna add our tomatoes. So I'm going to use a can of crushed tomatoes and a can of tomato puree. Once your onions are starting to caramelize and get some color, you're going to add the tomatoes. You're just going to give it a stir. And here's a tip for you. If you want to save all your clothing, make sure you pour the tomatoes in away from you, because nothing splashes more than tomatoes when you add them to a pot. So we're going to stir in those onions and the garlic into the tomatoes. I'm going to add that to the pot as well and give that a stir. And now this is where we're going to add some extra flavor. So I like to add a little bit of salt and pepper, just a pinch of both. And then I also like to add fish sauce. So I use this in my meatball recipe as well, and if you want to check that recipe out, I had mentioned before, it's super amazing with the spaghetti sauce. But the fish sauce gives it a deep, rich umami flavor, which is like a meaty, beefy flavor. And you don't have to use it. You can use Worcestershire sauce or you can skip it all together. But I really like the depth that it gives to this sauce. So then I like to add a little bit of sugar, and that just cuts the acidity of the tomatoes a little bit more. I like a sweeter sauce. If you like something that's straight tomato, very simple and tangy, leave it out. I'm not even gonna know. And then I like to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese. If you have a rind left over, and I'll save the rinds in my freezer, you can just throw the whole rind into your sauce and you'll get that Parmesan flavor without all the cheese or any grating. But I'm gonna grate a little bit and throw it in because I'm not quite to the rind yet. And I've used all my Parmesan rinds for other stuff. Parmesan rinds are great in like beef stew or soups. I have a great sausage soup that you can check out as well that I throw the Parmesan rind in. So we're gonna throw that into the pot. And this is where we're going to add our herbs too. So once you stir in the cheese, then we're going to stir in our herbs. Add some parsley and some basil sprigs. And I like to just tear up the basil and throw it in instead of chopping it. I feel like it holds together a little bit better. Plus it's nice to have big chunks of herbs. It makes it look fresher. Okay. And you can let this simmer for as long as you want. You can actually let it simmer for an hour if you want. It's great for weeknights because we're done. That's it. We're ready to eat. It's so perfect. It's nice and light and tangy. It would be great on a chicken Parmesan too. This is the kind of sauce you want to make a big batch of and freeze it and use it for everything. If you want to add a little bit of red wine vinegar to it, you certainly can do that. I've done that on occasion. If you want to add a little bit more sugar, you can do that. Really no rules here. Make it the way that you like it. Now that our sauce is all done, it's time to eat. So I'm just going to put a big bowl of pasta together, and that's going to be my lunch. I'm going to top the pasta with some sauce. A little bit of parsley just for some color, and grate some fresh Parmesan cheese over top. And if you want, and you're feeling a little bit like some spaghetti and meatballs, be sure to try my easy oven baked meatballs. These are fantastic, and they actually bake in the same amount of time that it takes for you to make your sauce. It's so good. So tangy, with a little hint of sweetness. It is the perfect spaghetti sauce, and in just 30 minutes. You can't beat that. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And for more easy recipes, be sure to check out thesuburbansoapbox.com. Thanks again.